Medellin, Colombia, 1974. Pablo Escobar is already
will become one of the world's most vicious criminal organizations is born. The Medellin Cartel.
The most feared man in Colombia once ruled from golden mansions. With hippos in his backyard and billions buried in the ground, his enemies vanished. His friends drove Ferraris. His name was whispered like a legend and feared like a curse. But in the end, Pablo Escobar didn't die on the throne. He died barefoot, bleeding, alone, on a rooftop in Medellin. This is the final chapter of a man who built an empire on cocaine and bullets and watched it collapse brick by brick. What does it look like to have the world at your feet and still fall? Today we explore the tragic and luxurious ending of the man known as El Patron, from dirt roads to golden palaces. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was born in 1949 in Rio Negro, Colombia, as a son of a farmer and a school teacher. He did not inherit power. He has done it one lawless transaction at a time. By the 1980s, Escobar was dealing more than 80% of global cocaine through his Madrilen cartel. He was earning $70 million daily. Yes, daily. Power came with that money. Escobar created his kingdom. His privately owned ranch, Hacienda en Naples, had its zoo, airport, racetrack, and dinosaur statues. He also brought in elephants, giraffes, and yes, even those notorious hippos. He donated money to the needy soccer pitches and paid doctors' clinics. To others, he was a Robin Hood, a monster to others. All the luxury was bought by blood. Assassinations, bombings, bribing of the police officers. Escobar ruled with blood on his hands. On one occasion, he uttered, "I am not a rich man. I have money and I am a poor man." Yet there is no mistake. He was a king with a rule, until the kingdom started rotting. A life of luxury wrapped in paranoia. As Escobar was soaking in wealth, he was being cornered. He could not have faith in anyone. Each of his friends is perhaps a spy. All the relatives are endangered. He changed hideouts every week, passing through hidden tunnels and isolated compounds. He had his own army, more than 3,000 hitmen, his own loyal and deadly army. Fear, however, of treachery was ever in his mind. His phone tappings were being tapped. His food was tasty. He could go to sleep with a gun under his pillow and the Bible at the bedside. His family society was reclusive. His children and wife were frequently concealed or secretly imported by armored vehicles, or taken to unseen destinations via flights. The man who was able to buy everything lived as a prisoner. He used gold-plated pistols, but he was not able to walk out. He used to own jet aircrafts. Nevertheless, no runway was safety. He possessed billions, yet no peace of time. The biggest foe was not the DEA. Now was the occasion. Since any empire run on the foundation of fear will always collapse internally. The hunt begins, and the net closes. By the beginning of the 90s, Pablo Escobar had proclaimed an open war with the Colombian state. No longer was it about escaping the law, it was about breaking it. Judges were mercilessly killed. The journalists who have been bold enough to speak out were silenced and silenced forever. Not even presidential candidates were spared, as they were being gunned down in broad daylight. There was no sacred cow. The U.S. could not remain idle. The DEA and the CIA teamed up with the Colombian police and made the search block, which was a special task force whose sole mission was to track down Escobar. Escobar did not run, however. He fought back even more brutally. Bogotá shook in the pressure of bombings. Kidnapping became normal, particularly of high-profile individuals. As an act of defiance, Escobar made a renowned remark, which he said, "Better a grave in Colombia than a jail in the U.S." In 1991, he made a sensational bargain with the government. He would give himself up, but only on the condition that he would construct his own prison. What preceded was La Catedral, a fortress of comfort. Not a prison, a bar, a waterfall, jacuzzi, even an exclusive football field. No wonder that he ran his empire even within the walls. Escobar disappeared when authorities decided to transfer him to an actual prison. Manhunting was launched, a funnel of 500 G-men, U.S. troops and spies. Millions had been expended. Dozens died. Yet in the later part of the story, A phone call informed everyone where he was. And just like that, the clock ran out on the kingdom of the Kingpin. Do you know that Pablo Escobar burned $2 million in cash just to keep his daughter warm while hiding in the mountains? His cartel was so rich they spent $2,500 a month just on rubber bands to hold their money. Rats ate over $1 billion stashed in warehouses. He offered to pay Colombia's national debt in full if they stopped trying to extradite him to the US. At one point, he was ranked by Forbes as the 7th richest man in the world. And yet, he never owned a yacht, wore watches, or invested in stocks. His luxury wasn't about fashion, it was about control. His real obsession wasn't comfort, it was power and escaping death. But as history shows, even the richest man can't outrun justice forever. The rooftop death of a drug lord. October 2nd, 1993 was the last day. Colombian authorities intercepted a phone call that was exchanged between him and his son. The call was simple, personal, and only intended by that phone call to his son. And so they were all they wanted. The pursuers, the search block, approached quickly enough until they had encircled the house where Pablo Escobar was hiding in Medellin. After realizing that he had been discovered, Escobar made one last attempt to escape as he ran atop the rooftops. And his sled had not gone far. In a few seconds, there was a short burst of shooting. The sound rippled through the street, and again there was silence. His body was discovered with gunshots fired at the leg, the torso, and the last time killing shot at the ear. Conspiracy theories continue to be trotted out. People insist that it was the Colombian police who took his life away. Others are of the opinion that Escobar, who never wanted to be out of control, shot himself dead with a shot on the head as he had always vowed. Regardless of whether it was true or not, the one fact remained: the most dreaded and influential drug lord in the world was dead. In Colombia, and particularly the city of Medellin, there was jubilation, cheers, and even dancing. The closing was not that easy to many. Escobar had been terrorizing a nation, but giving food to the poor. He was a killer and a myth. His funeral attracted more than 25,000 individuals. The ruler was defeated. However, his scars that he left behind even haunt the streets that he once dominated. Legacy, luxury, terror, and ruins. Nowadays, the empire of Pablo Escobar is destroyed. Hacienda Napoles has been converted into a theme park. His hippos are the offspring of his personal zoo, and they are now wild and invasive in Colombia. The Medellin cartel broke down, but new cartels emerged. The trade of drugs did not cease to exist, it evolved. The family of Escobar resides under alias names. His son, Sebastian Marroquin, is an architect at least those days when he was not discovering the ways of peace. Pop culture made Escobar a legend. He went so big that he was featured in the Netflix Narcos along with books and documentaries. Gold and glamour were all that people saw, but behind it was a man who lived in a world of fear, greed, and obsession. A man who could construct the paradise, still never inhabiting it. His true life is not only the story about crime, it is a cautionary note. Hey, what happens when the soul is no longer there in power? When wealth turns into cells? And when one man exchanges peace to domination? Pablo Escobar rose from poverty to become a king, only to die running across a rooftop, hunted, broken, and alone. His life was a paradox, generosity wrapped in violence, wealth soaked in blood. He dreamed of legacy, he built an empire, but he couldn't buy the one thing he needed most: peace. If this story made you rethink wealth, power, or legacy, hit that like button. Subscribe for more cinematic deep dives and comment below. Can someone truly be remembered as both hero and villain? Until next time, remember, even the greatest empire can crumble when it forgets its humanity.